Hagia Sophia, the Tears of Two Empires, Constantinople, May 29th, 1453. As the sun rose, a 1,000-year-old cathedral wept. Inside, Christians prayed for a miracle that would never come. Outside, Ottoman soldiers sharpened their swords. By sunset, the greatest church in Christendom would become a mosque, but no one knew the blood price that would be paid for this transformation. The birth of a divine dream at 532. Constantinople burned. The Nika riots had turned the Byzantine capital into ashes. Emperor Justinian I watched from his palace as flames consumed the old Hagia Sophia church. His wife, Empress Theodora, whispered in his ear, "Purple makes the best burial shroud." She meant, die as an emperor or rebuild as one. Justinian chose to rebuild, but not just any church. He would create the greatest architectural wonder the world had ever seen. A building so magnificent that it would make God himself jealous. A dome so vast that it would appear to hang from heaven by a golden chain. The emperor summoned two men, Anthemius of Tralles, a mathematician and physicist, and Isidore of Miletus, a master engineer. "Build me heaven on earth," Justinian commanded. "Cost is no object. Time is no obstacle. Only perfection matters. But perfection requires sacrifice, and the sacrifice would be measured in human lives. The impossible engineering. The challenge was unprecedented. A dome 31 meters in diameter, floating 55 meters above the ground. No one had ever attempted such a structure. Roman engineers had built the Pantheon, but its dome was a solid concrete, supported by thick walls. Justinian wanted something different, a dome that appeared weightless, supported by nothing but divine will. Anthemius and Isidore developed a revolutionary design. 4 massive pillars would carry the weight. Between them, 4 pendentives, curved triangular sections, would transition from the square base to the circular dome. It was mathematical genius. It was architectural madness. The foundation work began in February 532. 10,000 workers were conscripted, not slaves. Justinian needed skilled craftsmen, stone cutters from across the empire, marble workers from Greece, brickmakers from Constantinople, carpenters from Lebanon, mosaic artists from Syria. But skilled doesn't mean safe. The first deaths came within weeks. A scaffolding collapse killed 23 workers. A crane chain snapped, sending a marble column crashing down, crushing to men. The bodies were quietly removed. Work continued. The pillars of empire. The 4 main pillars were engineering marvels. Each measured 25 meters tall and 7 meters thick, but they weren't solid stone. Inside, they were hollow chambers filled with a special concrete mixture, crushed brick, volcanic ash, and lime mortar. This reduced weight while maintaining strength. The pillars were built in sections. Each section took months. Workers mixed mortar in giant vats. The smell was nauseating. Lime burning nostrils. Volcanic ash irritating lungs. Many workers developed respiratory diseases. Some coughed blood. They died silently, replaced by fresh labels. The marble cladding came from across the empire. Green marble from Thessaly. Yellow marble from North Africa. Pink granite from Egypt. Purple porphyry reserved for emperors. Quarried from a single mountain in Egypt. Was cut precisely, transported thousands of kilometers, and fitted perfectly. The transportation was deadly. Ships carrying marble sank in storms. Entire crews drowned. On land, ox-drawn carts sometimes overturned on mountain roads. Workers fell with them, crushed beneath tons of stone. The empire kept no records of these deaths. Only the marble mattered. The dome, touching heaven. The dome construction began in AD 537. 5 years into the project, this was the moment of truth. If the calculations were wrong, the entire structure would collapse. Thousands would die. The project would fail. The dome was built using special lightweight bricks made from pumice stone found near Rhodes. Each brick weighed half of normal bricks. Even so, the total weight was immense, approximately 10,000 tons pressing down on 4 points. The construction required a wooden framework stretching from floor to ceiling. This temporary structure was a building in itself. Forests were cleared to provide timber. Workers assembled the scaffold piece by piece, climbing higher each day. At 55 meters, the air was thin. One misstep meant death. Several workers fell. Their screams echoed through the vast space before ending with a sickening thud. The dome was built in concentric rings, each layer supporting the next. 40 windows pierced the base of the dome, creating a ring of light. When completed, the effect was supernatural. The dome appeared to float, suspended by rays of light. Justinian had achieved his vision, or so he thought. The first collapse, December 557, just 20 years after completion, disaster struck. A massive earthquake shook Constantinople. The eastern section of the dome cracked. Then, with a sound like thunder, it collapsed. Tons of brick and mortar crashed down, destroying the altar, smashing marble floors, sending dust clouds billowing through the nave. Miraculously, the church was empty. No one died, but Justinian wept. His dream was broken. The emperor ordered immediate reconstruction, but Anthemius had died. Isidore of Miletus had died. Their nephew, Isidore the Younger, took charge. He redesigned the dome, making it taller and more stable. 56.6 meters instead of 55 meters. The new design included stronger supports and lighter materials. The reconstruction took 6 years. Workers labored in the rooms, breathing dust that had settled from the collapse. Many developed lung diseases, silicosis, pneumoconiosis. They coughed, bled, and died. But the dome rose again. December 563. The rebuilt Hagia Sophia was consecrated. Justinian was 81 years old. He entered the church, looked up at the soaring dome, and reportedly said, "Solomon, I have surpassed you." It was his final triumph. He died 2 years later. The golden age of Byzantium. For 9 centuries, Hagia Sophia stood as the heart of Orthodox Christianity. Patriarchs were crowned here. Emperors were coronated here. Millions came to pray before glittering mosaics of Christ, Mary, and the saints. The interior was a symphony of gold. Over 30 million gold-leaf tiles covered the upper walls and ceilings. In candlelight, the entire church seemed to glow. Visitors described feeling overwhelmed, as if they had stepped into heaven itself. But maintaining this splendor required constant work. Craftsmen repaired damaged mosaics. Cleaners removed centuries of candle soot. Structural engineers monitored cracks in the dome. And always, there were accidents. In 869, another earthquake damaged the western section. Repairs took years. In 989, the Great Dome cracked again during yet another earthquake. Emperor Basil II personally funded repairs, employing hundreds of workers. Several died when scaffolding collapsed during the work. The building absorbed violence. In 1204, Crusaders sacked Constantinople. They ransacked Hagia Sophia, stealing gold, smashing mosaics, desecrating altars. They stabled horses inside the nave. For 57 years, Catholic priests held services in the defiled church. When Byzantines reclaimed the city in 1261, they found Hagia Sophia, damaged but not destroyed. They restored it, prayed it, loved it, but the empire was dying. Slowly, inevitably, the Ottoman Turks closed in. The final night of Byzantium, May 28th, 1453, Constantinople was surrounded. For 53 days, Ottoman cannons had battered the city walls. Inside, 7,000 defenders faced 80,000 Ottoman soldiers. Everyone knew the end was near. That night, a final mass was held in Hagia Sophia. Emperor Constantine II attended, knowing he would likely die the next day. Thousands of citizens crowded inside, Orthodox and Catholic, Greek and Italian, soldier and civilian. Old hatreds were forgotten. They prayed together, wept together, took communion together. The candlelight flickered on golden mosaics. Voices rose in ancient hymns. Some claimed to see visions, angels descending, saints weeping. Others saw nothing but doom. As dawn approached, the emperor left to defend the walls. Most would never see him again. Legend says he died fighting, his body never identified, buried among common soldiers. But his final words reportedly were, "The city is fallen, and I am still alive." Then he tore off his imperial insignia and charged into the Ottoman lines. The conquest and transformation, May 29th, 1453. Dawn. Ottoman forces breached the walls. Street fighting was brutal. Blood ran in the gutters. Thousands fled to Hagia Sophia, believing the ancient prophecy. When enemies entered the church, an angel would descend and drive them back. The doors were barricaded. Inside, priests continued the liturgy. Outside, Ottoman soldiers battered the doors with axes. The bronze doors, installed 900 years earlier, finally gave way. What happened next depends on who tells the story. Ottoman chronicles say Sultan Mehmed II immediately ordered protection of the building and its occupants. Byzantine sources describe slaughter, rape, and destruction. The truth, as always, lies somewhere between. What is certain, the priests were killed or enslaved. The congregation was enslaved. The golden vessels were looted. Mosaics were damaged, but the building itself was spared. Mehmed II entered Hagia Sophia that afternoon. He dismounted his horse at the door, a sign of respect. Inside, he found a soldier hacking at the marble floor. "Why do you do this?" the Sultan asked. The soldier replied, "For the faith." Mehmed struck him. "The building is mine now," he declared. The Sultan climbed to the dome, marveling at the engineering. Then he made his decision. Hagia Sophia would become a mosque, not destroyed, but transformed. The architectural metamorphosis. The transformation began immediately. Christian symbols were covered, not destroyed. Mosaics were plastered over. Crosses were removed. The altar was dismantled. A mihrab, indicating the direction of Mecca, was installed in the southeastern wall. But there was a problem. Hagia Sophia was oriented toward Jerusalem. Like all Christian churches, Mecca was southeast. The mihrab had to be slightly off-center from the building's axis. This architectural awkwardness remains visible today, a permanent reminder of the building's dual identity. 4 minarets were added over the centuries. The first 2, built under Mehmed II, were wooden. Sultan Bayezid II replaced them with stone towers in the early 1500s. Sultan Selim II added 2 more minarets in the 1570s, making the profile that defines Hagia Sophia today. Interior modifications continued. Massive medallions bearing Arabic calligraphy were hung from the upper galleries. Each medallion measured 7.5 meters in diameter, displaying the names of Allah, Muhammad, and the early caliphs. They were so heavy that special reinforcements had to be installed. A sultan's lodge was constructed in the upper gallery. An ablution fountain was built in the courtyard. A library, a school, a soup kitchen. All the features of an Ottoman imperial mosque complex grew around the ancient Byzantine core. But the bones remained Byzantine. The dome, the pillars, the marble floors, all testament to Justinian's vision. Two faiths, layered like geological strata, one atop the other. The hidden mosaics. When the Ottomans plastered over the Christian mosaics, they didn't destroy them, whether from respect, superstition, or simple practicality. The images were merely hidden. For 500 years, Christ, Mary, and the saints remained concealed beneath whitewash and plaster. The Diasis mosaic, showing Christ flanked by the Virgin Mary and John the Baptist, survived in fragmentary form. The imperial portrait of Emperor Leo VI prostrating before Christ remained hidden. The magnificent apse mosaic of the Virgin and Child, installed in 867, was covered but preserved. During the Ottoman period, knowledge of these hidden treasures faded. By the 19th century, most people had forgotten they existed. Only old texts hinted at the magnificence concealed above. In 1847 to 1849, Sultan Abdülmecid I commissioned restoration work. Swiss architects Gaspare and Giuseppe Fossati were hired. While working, they discovered the mosaics. They documented them, then covered them again at the Sultan's request. But they had photographed what they found, the first modern images of Byzantine's Hagia Sophia. The Fossatis also strengthened the structure. They found cracks in the pillars and dome. They installed iron supports. They cleaned centuries of soot. Their work saved the building from potential collapse. Ironically, European Christians preserved an Ottoman mosque that had once been a Christian cathedral. The earthquake survivor. Hagia Sophia has survived over 30 significant earthquakes. The building's longevity isn't luck, it's engineering. The flexible mortar joints between stones allow movement. The hollow pillars can sway slightly. The dome's design distributes weight efficiently, but each earthquake took its toll. Cracks appeared, sections weakened. After the devastating 1894 earthquake, engineers discovered that the northern pillar had shifted. It was leaning inward, threatening the dome's stability. Emergency repairs took years. Modern seismic studies reveal that Hagia Sophia should have collapsed centuries ago. The fact that it hasn't is partly brilliant engineering, partly continuous repair, and, believers might say, partly divine intervention. Engineers today monitor the building constantly. Sensors measure microscopic movements. Laser scans track structural changes. The building is alive, constantly shifting, settling, adjusting. Like an old person, it groans and creaks but refuses to fall. The Republican transformation. The Ottoman Empire collapsed. The Republic of Turkey was born. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the new nation's founder, sought to modernize Turkey, separating religion from state. In 1935, Atatürk issued a decree. Hagia Sophia would become a museum, neither mosque nor church, but a monument to both. It was a revolutionary decision. Religious leaders on both sides protested, but Atatürk was unmoved. The transformation began. The plaster covering the mosaics was carefully removed. Christ emerged from behind whitewash. Mary appeared from beneath centuries of concealment. The work took decades. Some mosaics were too damaged to save, but many survived, brilliant as the day they were created. The building became a symbol of coexistence. Muslim calligraphy and Christian icons occupied the same space. Tourists from around the world came to marvel. It was neither mosque nor church, but something unique, a monument to the complexity of history. For 85 years this arrangement held. Then in July 2020, a new decree reversed Ataturk's decision. Hagia Sophia became a mosque again. The mosaics remain visible, but during prayers, curtains cover the Christian images. The building, it seems, cannot escape its dual nature, the ghosts in the walls. If you visit Hagia Sophia today and stand very still, you can almost hear them. The workers who died building the pillars, the priests who chanted the final liturgy, the Byzantine refugees who prayed for a miracle that never came, the Ottoman craftsmen who added minarets and mihrab. In the upper galleries, scratches on marble reveal graffiti from Viking guards who served Byzantine emperors. Norse runes carved 1,000 years ago read, "Halfdan was here." Anonymous guards far from home left their mark. In the lower levels, fragments of earlier structures remain. The second Hagia Sophia burned in the Nika riots. The first Hagia Sophia, built by Constantine the Great. Layers upon layers like archaeological strata, each telling a story of faith, power, and human ambition. The marble floors are worn smooth by millions of feet. Byzantine emperors, Ottoman sultans, tourist crowds, all have walked these stones. Some historians estimate 500 million people have entered this building over 1,500 years. Each left something behind. Prayers, tears, breath, memory, the living monument. Hagia Sophia has been a church for 916 years, a mosque for 481 years, and a museum for 85 years. It has survived 30 earthquakes, 3 empires, and countless wars. It has been looted, damaged, restored, transformed, and reborn countless times. What makes it survive? Not just engineering, though the engineering is magnificent. Not just luck, though luck has played a role. Perhaps it survives because it means something different to everyone. To Christians, it's a lost cathedral. To Muslims, it's a symbol of conquest and faith. To secularists, it's a monument to human achievement. To architects, it's an eternal lesson. The building itself makes no claims. It simply stands. The dome still appears to float. The light still pours through 40 windows. The marble still gleams. The mosaics still shine, even behind curtains. When you stand in the center of the nave and look up at the dome, you experience what Byzantine worshippers experienced 1,500 years ago. The same space, the same light, the same sense of awe. Architecture transcends time, faith, and empire. 2 empires poured their souls into this building. Byzantine Christians built it to glorify God. Ottoman Muslims transformed it to honor Allah. The same God, different gods. The building doesn't answer. It simply endures. And perhaps that's the real lesson. Human empires rise and fall. Religions conflict and evolve. But great architecture outlasts everything. It becomes a mirror in which each generation sees its own reflection. Hagia Sophia weeps no more. It has witnessed too much to weep. It stands as testament to human ambition, cruelty, genius, and faith. It is a monument not to victory or defeat, but to the stubborn persistence of beauty in a violent world. The tears dried centuries ago, but the stone remembers everything.